Today is Monday, August 8th, 2022. It is also day 33 of SQL, and today I'm going to create a SQL database on like classroom reading logs. So like students who just put in, how many words they read in this like database every week or every day, whatever. So I'll create a table and call it logs, and the columns that I want in here are going to be the ID. The data type is an integer, so this is just going to be my identifier for each student. Or each log that I log, right? No pun intended. All right. I want SQL to know that this is a primary key, so it's not just any column. And then I want it to auto increment, so I want it to automatically add itself. The second column that I want is the name of the student, so that's going to be a data type text. And then the third column that I want is the words, how many words they read, and that's a data type integer. So let me just add an E there. Okay, to insert my first log, so let's say I'm a student, I'm going to insert into my table name logs, and I'm going to put in the columns that I want to insert, so I don't have to add ID because that's automatically inserted for me. So I could just put in the name and then words and then put in values that I want to insert and put in my values here. So let's say I'm the first student, and then I read like 800 words this week. So now to see my database, I can select everything from logs, and I'm able to see my database. And as you can see, the ID is automatically added. All right, so I'm just going to copy and paste and just do a few more. All right, so I'll change this to, I'm so bad with names. Jacob for Jacob Tutu. Let's see what other character. Mare from Red Queen. Maven from Red Queen. Let's leave me again, Sarai. I'll do maybe like Mare, put in like 2 more logs. And let's say Maven put in another log. Okay, so these are basically the logs. I'm just going to change the number. Maybe Jacob read 830 words, maybe Mare read 651 words one time, maybe Maven read that much, and then I read just this much, and then maybe I read this much, and then maybe Mare read that much, and then maybe Maven read that much. Okay, so basically this is the database. So this is what like a teacher would see in their classroom, how many students, logged their readings, and basically a student can log more than one, right? Because it's just how many, it's basically a database collecting all of the logs. They're just logging whenever they read, right? So per week, I guess, and these are the words that they read. So it's not per week because that wouldn't make sense. Let me just say it's like whenever they just read, they log whatever they read. All right, so that makes a little bit more sense. Okay. So now here is where I need to apply what I learned yesterday. So yesterday I learned about how to group and how to do like some stuff, but let me stop talking about it and let me actually show. So let's see, how would I do this? So the first thing I would do is I'll select, I can select the, let's say the sum of all the words from logs, and that's like 5,979, but I want them to group by name. So now I get the name, so then I could also probably select the name and then comma, and then put as words read. So Jacob got a sum, or read a sum of 830 words. Mare read a sum of 1,819 words. Maven 1,556, and I read 1,774 words. All right, so okay, let me just kind of dwell on what I just did. So first of all, I selected the column name, so that's how I can see the names, right? And then I selected the sum of the words, but I grouped them by name, so it's not just giving me the total sum of all of the words in the column, but it's giving me the sum of each individual name, right? Because I grouped by name. And then this part is basically just renaming this, because by default it would just be some words, And so this just renames it to be words read. And then I'm doing this from logs. Okay, so that makes sense. And then I can say maybe, let's see, I can maybe do a little bit more, and I could do like having words read. Maybe I want to know who read more than, I don't know, let's say 1,000 words, greater than 1,000. So that's only Mayor, Maven, and me. I'm sorry, Mayor, Maven, and I. So then Jacob isn't there because Jacob only read 830 words. And so I guess if a teacher, let's say, wants to, I don't know, if there's like a hierarchy of like a game or something, it's like, oh, if you read more than 1,000 words, then you get like a level 2 gift. So that may be, I don't know, like a homework pass or something. But if you read less than 1,000 words, then you get, I don't know, what would be, maybe you get a sticker. I don't know. I'm just inventing things right now. So Jacob would get a sticker, and then whoever got greater than 1,000 words would get a homework pass. So Mayor, Maven, and I would get a homework pass. So that's just a use case of this. What else could I do? Maybe I could do the average. Maybe not the sum, but the average. That's interesting. The average still wouldn't. Interesting. That wouldn't work apparently. The average words. Oh, I wasn't just. Oh, it's because I didn't. Oh, it's because I have this. Okay, there we go. So by average, then I can look at the average of all of the words that I read, and maybe the teacher only wants to look at the average and not the sum, and so none of us actually read more than an average of 1,000 words. So then we wouldn't get a homework pass if she wants to go by average and not sum. And we would all get a sticker though, so that's not good, I guess. There's a max. So there's the max amount of words that we read, that we can group by. So the maximum that I read is 800. The maximum that Jacob read was 830. The maximum that Mayor read was 1,168. So that's right over here. Words, right? So we could look at the max. We can look at the minimum words. So maybe the teacher has a rule where we can't read less than 400 words, and so she wants to look at those students who did read with less than 400 words, and then who read, I don't know, those students who did read less than 400 words basically broke the rule, so they would get, I don't know, like if they were to get a homework pass the next time she checks, then she wouldn't give it to them because they broke a rule. So for example, I wouldn't get the homework pass the next time I read more than 1,000 words because I broke the rule of reading less than 400 words. Like I read 324 and that's breaking the rule, so I wouldn't get the homework pass. So that's looking at the minimum. I looked at average, I looked at sum, I looked at maximum. What else is there? There's also honestly, I think that's it, honestly. Am I missing something? No. All right, maybe I am. I don't know. So that's a use case for that, and then I can group by the name, which is really cool, and then I can even do further conditions such as having words read greater than 1,000. So that's that. Having versus where is also a thing to note. Having is when you are working with like groups of things, especially when you're using group by, like group by and having work hand in hand. You can't do where words read is 1,000 because where would look at like individual, it wouldn't even work. Like it would look at individual rows and not really like words read. Like it would just look at like individual rows and in each like log that you put in. But having looks at, you know, the groups that you have, especially the words read. If I were to put words, it would give me 1,819, and what that basically does, it looks at each individual row, just kind of like having where. But if you have where, it wouldn't even work. Like I believe it wouldn't even, where words is greater than 1,000 gives the same result. But yeah, so it's kind of just looking between which single person read more than 1,000 words, and that's Mayor. But like we're looking for the sum of the words. We're looking at who read more than 1,000 words like in total, because we're trying to add up all of the logs of the students, and so that's why we have to not look at the column words, but we need to look at the words read column, because that's the column that has the sum of each student. or the sum of the words that each student read. So that's words read. So that's one thing. All right, but those are my comments for today. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go now. Bye.